Greetings, Jelly Spoons, and welcome back to another episode of Monday Madness, the Monday show where I talk about anything and everything, and as you can probably tell, it is Pride Month! So this month I'm going to be doing sporadic content about Pride. So to start the month of Pride off correctly, I decided I'm going to talk about characters! Seeing as I spend most of my time talking about them anyway, I'm going to tell you guys some of my favourite LGBTQ characters. Starting off this list then with a character that I have known for many years. It was one of the first characters I really enjoyed. He was one of my first favourite characters. And who is this first character? Well, it is Sirius Black from the Harry Potter series. Now I will admit that when I was reading this series first as a child, I had absolutely no idea what shipping was. I wasn't in any fandoms, I wasn't on Tumblr. So it took me a long time to learn that Wolfstar was actually a thing. But as soon as I learned it was a thing, I was convinced. I was immediately, it was like a light bulb went off and I went, yes, of course this is canon. So while most of this is taken from fan fiction, I also see it as canon, and JK can bite me. I will very happily die on the hill that Wolfstar is canon, and you know what makes it even better? JK Rowling would hate it. And that makes it even better because what I love is being able to enjoy these characters and say this is canon and enjoy the LGBT part of this and know that she can do not a fucking thing about it. Because she does not deserve it anymore. Now, normally I will advocate for an author to have a little bit of control over their world, but in this instance, fuck her. So, yes, I am going to enjoy these characters and interpret them how the fuck I see fit, and you know what? JK can suck my... As a kid, I really enjoyed Sirius Black because he was the rebel sort of gothy punk rock kid that I always wanted to be when we saw flashbacks of him, and as a grown-up, he seems to have that sort of all over the place attitude and that just wanting to get on and do the adventures and stuff, and yeah, that was definitely something that I aspired to be and was when I was a kid. As I read more about him as a grown-up, I see the complete sorrow of his story. He had a family that didn't care for him and he was probably heavily abused by them, magically and otherwise. He ended up having to go and stay with his best friend's family. Instead, he had found family, which is very sweet, and then ultimately he lost everyone. Everyone believed that he was this murderer. Peter Pettigrew had betrayed him, and then eventually everyone died except Lupin, and then he died really before his time, before he got to really do anything or even see his name cleared. It was really horrible, and so as a story I really enjoyed that character, and seeing the relationship that he has with Remus Lupin and reading into that, I really enjoy that as part of his story and part of his character. Also Remus Lupin as well, but I am a Sirius Black more than a Lupin. Sorry about that, but I do enjoy them both. So that's first character number one. This next one is an interesting one, and I have talked about it before in my Peter Pan fact series. You didn't think I was going to leave Peter Pan and the Neverland out of this video, did you? Oh, you were wrong. So I'm going to talk about this canonical piece of LGBT characterization in Peter Pan and the Law of the Neverland. And this, as you may have guessed because I've talked about it before, is the law of the fairies on the Neverland. So the fairies on the Neverland are described like this. The mauve ones are boys, the white ones are girls, and there are other colours who don't know what they are. Now, I say that you can read into that however you want. It is definitely saying that there are some fairies who exist on the Neverland who are neither male nor female, so you can put them anywhere on the gender spectrum that you would like to there. And also in terms of sexuality, I think they're fairy folk, they're fae. I always think that the fae just seem to ooze this sort of not cis, not straightness, so I think they can be pretty much anything that you want there. But the exciting thing for me is, you know, particularly with my own gender journey, in the Neverland lore, there is canonically fairies who are neither male nor female, and that to me is super exciting. I'm also going to add a tiny caveat here for the character of Captain Hook. Now, if you want to know more about this, go check out this video I did up here. I do talk about it more in detail, but in brief, I just want to say that I personally think it's very easy to read Captain James Hook as an example of an LGBTQ character. We do know a lot about him, but we also have some vagaries here and there too. Personally, I think that he falls somewhere in the middle of the gender spectrum, something like fluid, and I think sexuality-wise, the more I think about it, I think he could be pretty much anything, but in particular, I am leaning towards asexual for Captain Hook, I'm not gonna lie, the more I think about it. So again, that one's not completely canonical, but based on the evidence that we are given of his character, I certainly see it as plausible, so I'm counting him as representation, to be honest. For me, at least.
Hey buddy, what's up? Have you come to say hi? Do you want to be in the video? Do you want to be in the video? All right, come here then. Come here then. Good boy. Come here. Good boy. Oh God, you're heavy.
Here is the doggo. He wants to say hi. He's an ally, aren't you? To be fair, this is a very fruity dog. He lives with me. This is a very fruity dog. What do you reckon, buddy? Yeah? Mwah. There you go. There's your dog fix for the day.
Oh, do you want to go play with your ball? Go on then. Go on then.
I love you, buddy. Alright, next character. Next up is a very obvious collection of characters who most of you will probably already know, and I think it is very relevant to mention them, particularly today, because just recently we have learned that we're getting a second season! Oh yes, of course, I am speaking about, wait, what am I doing? One moment. Our flag means death, and I finally have a t-shirt. We got renewed for season 2. I am pumped, I am hyped, I am so excited. I am hoping that we get it on DVD just so I can keep rewatching it without having to go on completely legitimate websites to watch this show that I love. Basically, the entire world, it seems, has fallen in love with the gay pirate show, and correctly so. This is an amazing show, not just because it has fantastic representation, but also because it's not just young people representation. And I do sort of count as young, but I'm not a teenager anymore, man. I really enjoy that this show has older people. They're not, ancient, but they're not 20. I love the fact that it shows that no matter what stage you are in life, you can still have love and desire and different genders and all of this stuff, because there are a lot of people in the world who are discovering this later on in life. As I said, I'm doing it right now. I'm not that late on in life, but I'm not a teenager. I'm not a 16-year-old. Fuck, I wish I'd found all this out when I was 16. Could have saved myself a lot of terrible relationships and really bad life decisions, but nonetheless, I know, I'm living proof. People don't always get it right. You don't always know yourself until you're a bit older, and you don't always get to have these experiences until you're older. And also, older people are also capable of feeling love and excitement and emotions and doing the romance. So yeah, I really enjoy that this show shows older people, younger people, medium people, anywhere in between people, and a whole just different host of genders and identities and sexualities and everything, and more to the point. You know what the thing I love the most about this show is? None of it matters. None of it is a big deal. Now, yeah, the closest we come is Jim. Jim's journey, I'm not going to spoil it too much, but Jim's journey involves some people discovering that Jim is not who they thought. But that's not really a big deal either. They have some conversations where they're a bit confused, like, so can we still call you Jim? But they resolve really quickly, and then that's it. Nobody makes a massive deal out of it. They're not shunned because of it. They just carry on. And the same with being gay. I know that there is a lot of tumult, and there are lots of countries and places in the world where being gay is not okay. But I find it so refreshing to watch a show where it's fine. Someone doesn't come out as gay and then they have to get shunned by everybody and hated by everybody. No, it doesn't matter. You can be gay, straight, bi, anything in between in Our Flag Means Death, and nobody cares. You're going to be enemies with somebody because of your personalities and your decisions, not because of who you choose to snog. And that is why I love this show so much. And yes, I'm going to be cosplaying Blackbeard. It needs to happen. Alright, so who's next? Also, just for a moment to stick with the piratey theme, before we got Our Flag Means Death, I was in love with a show called Black Sails. I still am, actually. I still love this show. And I would like to take a moment to mention the character of Captain Flint here. Something that I really love about the representation we get from Captain Flint is that you don't know his sexual identity, at least until the very end. Minimal spoilers. So what I like is that he's just a guy. He's a pirate. You see his story and his personality and his character, and at least I didn't guess. There may have been some hints here and there that I completely missed, but as far as I can tell, you weren't supposed to know anything about his sexuality until the very end, when somebody worked it out. And it ended up being not quite used against him, it ended up being used to get him back with the person that he loved, which was a very sweet ending. But I found that really important. It was important to me to see someone whose whole personality wasn't their sexual identity, and the fact that they could be that, and they were this pirate, and they had all these huge big character arcs, and yeah, the plot continued regardless, and then right at the end you find out this thing that doesn't change anything at all, except you suddenly realize, oh, this is why he was doing a certain thing at a certain point. So Captain Flint, I really love as well. This next one is an interesting one, I guess, because the version that I am talking about and the version most people know are slightly different, and you could probably make the argument that this character is straight. I personally don't think that he is, particularly given who wrote the story, but anyway, the character I'm talking about now is Dorian Gray. Now, in particular, I'm talking about the movie with Ben Barnes, but mostly I'm talking about the Matthew Bourne dance version, which is just, the music alone in that show is so fucking great. Now, Matthew Bourne did my favourite version of Swan Lake with Adam Cooper as the Swan on the DVD. It's just the most beautiful and gay thing you will ever see in your life, so please go watch that. Matthew Bourne is a horrendously talented choreographer. I studied him, luckily, for my A-levels, and I've never looked back. Absolutely love Matthew Bourne, and so that version of Dorian Gray that I got to go and see was stunning, and I wish it was available on DVD. Now, the character of Dorian Gray in both the movie with Ben Barnes, but predominantly, to be honest, in the Matthew Bourne version, is, I believe, bisexual. Definitely in Matthew Bourne's version, and I think in the picture of Dorian Gray, in the book and in the movie with Ben Barnes, he definitely has some hints that he is into lots of different things. Personally, I think he could be pan, to be honest. I don't think he's just bi, I think he's pan, just to relate to the character even more, I guess. So, the character of Dorian Gray, I really enjoy. Again, it's a sort of villain story, isn't it? It's up to you whether you think he's redeemed at the end. Personally, I think that he is, because he did see the error of his ways and try to atone, kind of thing, you know. But anyway, Dorian Gray as a character is fascinating all on his own, regardless of his sexuality. And again, that's what I think makes him interesting. I don't want representation of characters where their sexuality or their gender is all their personality is, and that's all their plot revolves around. I want them to be a character first, and then have those things be second place. Dorian Gray is almost the fall of an innocent man getting tricked into all this stuff, but it's also him, you know, leaning into these desires that were there already. You know, you can't give someone a desire. It was there to begin with. He just, you know, had it coaxed out of him, I guess. So I love to see him doing his villainy thing, but I also love to see people throwing away those inhibitions and just leaning into their desires and seeing what comes of it, be it good, bad, or somewhere in between. And particularly in the ballet version, you get to see that. Oh, do you get to see that? But also, I would argue in the Ben Barnes movie as well, you get to see it too. You really see his manipulative side in both as well, and that I really enjoy. So I love it as a character. I'm not saying he's a good character, but I am saying as an LGBTQ character, I think he's really fun. This next one is one that you guys may have heard of as a character, but might not have seen the version that I'm talking about. I'm talking about now the character of Casanova, Giacomo Casanova, but the version I am talking about is not the movie. I am talking instead about the BBC drama series with David Tennant in the main role. Now, hopefully you all know who David Tennant is. He's an amazing actor, and I love this series. This series, to be honest, on a side note, is probably one of the shows that really sparked my interest in costumes and set design and stuff, because my god, BBC's Casanova, it just looks beautiful. I love the colours and the creativity in this. But going back to the LGBTQ for Pride Month, so Casanova, I would argue, has some good representation of pan or bisexualness in there, and also some gendery bits hidden in there too. Let me explain. One of the major plot lines that they explored in this series of Casanova that just hit me and stayed with me from being a teenager when I first watched it to now thinking about it, and I haven't actually watched this series in a while, so I don't really remember too much else of the story except this plot line. And this is the part of the story where Giacomo Casanova, who has been the ladies' man, romancing any and every lady, he's learned his craft, he's very good at what he does, he is a seducteur, that's a word, totally. He plays the violin and all that, he is just, he is sexual dreamboat going around, just basically, you know, living the life that, God, I'd love to live that life. Anyway, and then he meets a character called Bellino. And when he first meets Bellino, he's confused because he thinks Bellino might be a girl, but Bellino is presenting as a male. And when he speaks to Bellino, he tries to coax the truth out of them, but Bellino isn't giving anything away. And eventually Casanova, through a series of incidents, realizes that Bellino is a boy. And he has started to fall head over heels in love with Bellino. And was initially thinking, this is a girl, this is a girl, this is fine, this is a girl. Oh my god, it's a man. And there is a moment where he's thinking, oh my god, it's a man. But then he goes and he speaks to a very trusted confidant and he thinks about it some more and he realizes, I don't care. I don't care that this is a man. I'm in love. I'm going back. And so he runs to go and find Bellino and he says he doesn't care. And Bellino says, but we will be outcast. This isn't okay. I think it's against the law, something like that. It was, you know, back in the day. And Bellino says, like, no, this isn't okay. It's a sin. We'll be cast out. And he's like, I don't care. We'll be together. I love you. I am in love with you. And it's that moment that I remember of him just being like, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I am this seducteur of all these ladies and I have, you know, bonked my way through Venice and whatever. But when he meets this person and he's in love and it's about the personality and the character and the depth, he's just like, I don't care. I don't care that you got a dick. I do not care. I love you for you, regardless. And that was hugely important to me watching as a teenager. And remembering how I felt watching that as a teenager, you know, it makes you realize some things that you should have seen the, LGBTQ flag waving, but you didn't see it at the time. But that was a really important part of the story for me. Now, yes, later on it does turn out that Bellino actually is a woman and was masquerading as a man, but I don't think that takes anything away from it. She had her reasons why she was pretending to be a male, and overall I don't think it takes away from the fact that Casanova still made that decision. He believed that she was a male and fell in love regardless. So that is a hugely important part of that story, and I really, really love the representation that we get there. Alrighty then, this is the last big one that I'm going to talk about, and you can probably all guess who it's going to be, but then I'm going to do a few honourable mentions at the end as well. So, the last big character who is super important to me, who means so much to my life, who is a huge part of representation on the LGBTQ section and just made me realise so many things about myself and come to so many just emotional and just so many decisions, and were just so important. Alright, anyway, all of that. Who is it? Who are they? Who is this wonderful person? Of course, Mollymauk Tealeaf. Mollymauk Tealeaf is the second most important character in my entire world. Mollymauk, as I've said a few times before, is the second of only 2 characters I have ever truly felt like I related to, that I have truly felt a kinship with, that I have cared for, that I have actually in any way really felt like I could seriously see myself in, and them in me as well. Now, Mollymauk I was very lucky to meet when he was first brought out in Critical Role's Campaign 2 with the Mighty Nine, and I met him in episode 1 when I was watching live, and I watched every episode live and really enjoyed him. I talk more about this in other videos, so I'm not going to bore you to tears with all of the different aspects about why, but basically I felt a huge kinship to the character of Molly, firstly because of his character, because of how he was, his past, how he behaved, how he thought of things, and how he handled stuff, and also, again, realising it slightly later on, also because he is a very good representation of gender, fuck that noise, and also, well, everyone is attractive, so... Everyone, come hither, you wonderful, gorgeous, everyone is beautiful, just come and snog my face off. Yeah, I can relate to that. Strongly. Some of the big things I got from just enjoying and witnessing and going along for the journey with the character of Molly was learning that it was okay to be who I was, and it was going to be okay from here on out. And also, if I die, I will come back as a really awesome villain and then get to be a pirate. Which I am also okay with, because I love a good villain story and I fucking love pirates. On a serious note, Mollymauk Tealeaf means more than the entire world to me. He is a character that I completely relate to. I don't think I understand him as well as I understand, say, the character of Peter Pan. I certainly haven't studied him as hard, and whenever I cosplay him and do commissions in him, my version of Molly is probably different to your version of Molly and every other Critter's version, and it's probably different to Talison's as well, because to be honest, the only person, as I've said before, who truly understands this character will be Talison. But what I have taken from him and what he has given to me in my life, that's not going to go away, and I am genuinely grateful that this character appeared at the time in my life that he did, because without realising it, I needed him. I really needed Molly. I did a whole crying sad video about why Mollymauk changed my life, and you can find it on my channel, but to be honest, I really want to redo that video because there is so much more I have to say on it now, and I do present as fairly feminine in that video, which annoys me that it exists, but hey. Here I am now saying a little bit instead. Mollymauk, as you can probably tell, is the most important character in terms of Pride Month. He is the most important character to me because of everything that he gave to me. And to be honest, it was belief in myself that Molly gave me, and realization of some things that had happened in my life, and the fact that you can leave things behind and you can grow and you can always choose to make each place and each day better. You can be that person, and that's what I try to do all the time from here on out. I try to be a better person all the time, every day. I try to spread some light and share that enjoyment, enthusiasm, and happiness, and just a little bit more energy in life with everyone that I meet, whether I'm at work, whether I'm out, whether I'm at con, whether I'm making videos for you guys. So in terms of it being an LGBT character, absolutely 100% Molly is yes there. And also just as a character on his own, everything that he gave to me, I couldn't possibly hope to repay, but I will try somehow to spread it to the world. And now to finish off this video, I am just going to shoot you guys some quick honourable mentions. Okay, so first off, we have Irene Adler from the BBC's version of Sherlock. Now, I really love this series, and I'm very sorry. I watched it before the movie, and the movie came nowhere close. So, yeah, not that Irene Adler, this Irene Adler. I love her so much. Number one, she is an unashamed sex worker. And that is something that needs to be celebrated. Because, hashtag, sex work is real work. They are real people, it's important, and she is not ashamed of this. She is the top of her craft and just, oh, so amazing. And also, I want to make her entire closet and put it on my best friend cat. I just need to. Also, at the very least, this Irene Adler is bisexual. She has women that she dates. She likes Sherlock. She says that she's gay at one point. She will sleep with men or women as part of her job. So she is very openly out there and just like, yeah. There's not much more I can say about her other than just, yeah. Also, jumping back on the Critical Role bandwagon for a second, Vax'ildan. Oh my god, I love him. He was my favourite character from Campaign 1. I adore this man so much. He didn't give me quite as much as Molly did, but I've talked about this before, but through watching Campaign 1 and really falling for the character of Vax'ildan's story and just really, I really enjoyed Vax as a character. That really woke me up. I was in a very, very, I don't want to say dark place because that sounds real bad, but I was in a really sort of dark, depressive place after a really abusive relationship, and enjoying the character of Vax, that was the first time I really felt any feelings again, because I was suppressing everything and making myself just be numb to everything, and I was just scared all the time. And I got into Critical Role and I watched Vax, and that really just, it woke me up. So I will always be very grateful to Vax for that. And also, much as I adore Keyleth, Vax and Gilmore. Vax and Gilmore was just, so wonderful to watch. And also, I am very delighted to have potentially launched the ship, because I couldn't find it anywhere else, Vax'ilmauk. Vax and Molly. 100% I will die on this hill. Anyway, moving on. This one's an interesting one, and I am not sorry. We're getting a bit biblical here. Judas. Judas is a cat from Jesus Christ Superstar in particular. I would argue the Bible itself is very fruity as well, but predominantly I'm talking about the Swedish musical version of Jesus Christ Superstar. And yeah, the Judas and the Jesus in that show. Oh, it's gay. Oh, it's so, it's beautiful. It's beautiful and I love it. And I immediately went out and cosplayed this Judas. Yes. To be honest, most European musicals have a bit of fruit about them. And I am here for it, because I have also cosplayed from Elizabeth. I cosplayed Detod. And yeah, just a little fruity, just a little bit. Particularly the vampires. Oh my god. Also, I have seen a version of Romeo and Juliet where Romeo and Mercutio had a little fruity moment, and I'm here for it. And finally, on my honourable mentions list, I love this character, and I love this movie, and I might go and watch it later tonight because it's in my head now. Captain Shakespeare from the movie, not the novel, the movie of Stardust. I love this character so much. I don't want to guess too much what his sexuality and his gender are. He could very well be a straight cis male who enjoys dressing up, but I don't really get that vibe. I'm getting more fruit than plate. Plate is straight and fruit is not, I guess. So I think that Captain Shakespeare in this movie, I see him as quite good representation. He has the reputation of being this, fearsome pirate, and he also enjoys this stuff, and nobody acts like it's not okay. They're surprised, there is surprise, and the villains act like it's not okay, but his crew are very accepting, and in fact always knew. They just didn't tell him, and they both kept the secret from each other, as it were. So again, a bit like Our Flag Means Death, I really enjoy the fact that it's not a big deal in this show, at least to the good guys. It's not a big deal. I really enjoy the fact that his crew are just like, yeah, we knew. You're still our captain, kind of thing. So yeah, I enjoy Captain Shakespeare. I think he's really awesome, and I really want to go and watch this movie again. All right, I'm gonna go off and watch Stardust. So then, Jelly Spoons, that brings us to the end of our first Monday Madness for the month of Pride. If there's anything else you would like me to talk about, chuck ideas down in the comments below, and also tell me, who are some of your favourite LGBT characters? Who represents you? Who do you really enjoy or hate, but they're still cool, that kind of thing? Chuck those down in the comments below as well, and tell me what you guys are doing for Pride. Any ideas? What are you up to? Anything you'd like me to do to celebrate? Etc, etc. Let me know down in the comments below. Also, as always, you can purchase my merch. For example, there is no star. I'm gonna try and get some pirate merch soon, I really am. You can buy my badges over on my Ko-fi store. I also have some of my acorn button kisses remaining, only a few though, so if you want these, get in there now. And over on my Ko-fi page, you can also commission me. My commissions are open once again. You can commission me to do a personalised message for you or for somebody else. I do Mollymauk, Lucien, Kingsley. I also do Puck from A Midsummer Night's Dream, and of course, Peter Pan, straight from the Neverland. So if you want to commission me for a personalised message for you or for somebody else as a gift, or just for yourself because, well, it's Monday, then you can hit up my Ko-fi page and you can get one of those. You can also join me on my Patreon, where you can support me monthly for a monthly commitment if you would like. You get behind the scenes photos of what I am up to, you get to vote on various things, have a chat with me, and see photos of the dog, which apparently is what most people are there for. So yeah, hit me up on my Ko-fi or my Patreon and support me in there if you would like to. And if you enjoyed this video, or even if you didn't, chuck a like on the video. If you didn't enjoy it, just like it passive aggressively, I guess. I don't know. And if you're not yet subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. I don't know how many people have got subscribed to me now, but either way, thank you so much for being here. I love you all tremendously. Happy Pride. I will see you again next week. God, I can't believe I've got this one. Also on the Honourable Mentions, red, white and royal blue. I know it's probably an obvious one, and my knowledge of LGBT literature is basically limited to fanfiction right now, but I'm branching out, okay? And this book... I love this book, it was fucking great! And I really enjoyed the development of this relationship, so yeah, the prince is my favourite. Sorry about that, I am British. I really enjoyed the prince, but yeah, this book was really, really cool. So red, white and royal blue, definitely up there as well. Recommend.